Moving on now, the United States has achieved what it wanted to do for a long time. A well-thought-out plan to kill Al-Qaeda leader Ayman Al-Zawahiri has become a success. One of the world's most wanted terrorists and key 9/11 plotter is now dead. But this entire operation was not a one-day affair. The United States officials have described the operation a meticulously planned attack, just like the one they did to kill bin Laden in his Pakistan hideout in 2011. After years of hide-and-seek, the United States was able to track al-Zawahiri this year. Once he was identified, the preparation for this operation began. According to reports, U.S. officials, they studied the construction of Zawahiri's home in Kabul for days. This was done to ensure that there were no civilian casualties during the operation. Defense and intelligence officials finalized the plan in June, presented it to Joe Biden in the White House on the 1st of July. They provided a detailed model of the residence, as was done before for bin Laden. Finally, on the 25th of July, Biden green-lighted the operation. The strike involved a U.S. drone armed with 2 precision-guided Hellfire missiles, which were launched at 6:18 a.m. local time on Sunday. Zawahiri was killed on the balcony of the house in which he was hiding with his family. Now, Al-Qaeda chief and one of the world's most wanted terrorists, Ayman Al-Zawahiri, is now dead. Al-Zawahiri for the longest time was considered bin Laden's right-hand man and Al-Qaeda's number 2 leader, who guided the world's most notorious terrorist movement. Zawahiri was born in 1951 to a prominent Cairo family. He was an eye surgeon who helped run the Egyptian Islamic terrorist group. He was imprisoned in 1980s for involvement in terrorist activities. He left the country after his release was involved in the jihadist movements then. Eventually, he settled in Afghanistan, joined forces with Osama bin Laden. Together, they declared war on the United States, organized the 11 September 2001 attacks. He took over the leadership of Al-Qaeda following the killing of bin Laden in 2011. He had central roles in Al-Qaeda's signature attacks like the 1998 assaults on the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania and the deadly 9/11 attack. Zawahiri was at number 2 in the 22 most wanted terrorist list announced by the United States government back in 2001 and had a $25 million bounty on his head. The attack near Kabul was not the first time that the United States had sought to kill the Al-Qaeda leader. In January 2006, he was the target of a U.S. missile strike near Pakistan's border with Afghanistan. The attack killed 4 Al-Qaeda members, but Zawahiri survived. Now, during the decade that he presided over the group, it never recovered its prominence as much as other terror groups like the Islamic States. They came to the forefront. Some analysts say that Zawahiri was seeking to rebuild the group anew in partnership with the Taliban in Afghanistan. There were rumors of Zawahiri's death several times in recent years, and he was long reported to have been in poor health. For more on this, we're now being joined by Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Mallick from Islamabad. Anas, thank you for joining us. Now, to begin with, what can you tell us of the implications of this going forward?
Well, the implications are huge. They're severe. It's a big blow to the Al-Qaeda for one very reason, that Zawahiri was that driving or uniting factor that was leading, who was uniting and rather leading the Al-Qaeda factions following the assassination of Osama bin Laden by U.S. forces. So that is something the terror group would be having a severe blow. They were not. They had their backs broken down by the U.S. admins during their war on terror in Afghanistan. So there will be a leadership crisis in within the Al-Qaeda. That is number one. The other two is that it would the other problem would be that it would sever the relations between Al-Qaeda and Taliban, because Al-Qaeda would now be seeing the Taliban as an adversary, or rather as someone who has collided with the Americans in order to have this operation done. Therefore, the implications or the ramifications of this this act are huge for the region, especially in days to come. But what happened is very interesting, especially with regards to the planning, the execution, from where the drone flew. How did the drone come in? Why was it not detected by Afghan authorities or the Kabul authorities or the Taliban authorities? Lots of questions that that will be raised in time to come, and that is something that the Taliban would be compelled to answer in order to maintain ties with the Al-Qaeda.
Right. Now, speaking of the Taliban's role, there are a lot of other questions as well, especially at a time when they have been seeking international recognition. What does this mean for them going forward?
Well, this, again, as I said, this will be taken with a pinch of salt on how the Taliban would be reacting. If I just read it out to you, they've put out an English statement just now as we are talking, and this statement does not read anything about about Ayman Al-Zawahiri, but that the statement says that on August 1st, 2022, an airstrike was carried out on a residential house in Sherpur area of Kabul city. At the outset, the nature of the incident was not revealed. The security and intelligence agencies of the Islamic Emirate investigated the incident and found in their preliminary investigations that the attack was carried out by American drones. This is what the Taliban have just put out in a statement, in an English statement. Then it goes on to further read that IEA strongly condemns this attack on any cause and calls it a clear violation of international principles and the Doha Agreement. Such actions are a repetition of the failed experiences of the past of 20 years and are against the interests of the USA, Afghanistan and the region. And repeating such actions will damage the existing opportunities of engagement. So the Taliban, they are being very cautious, as they say that, as I said, we have to understand the relation of Taliban with Al-Qaeda. It's historical, it's generational, it's geographical, and the other thing is it's intermarriages, it's the family bonds that they've built. So the Taliban are really in a fix right now.
All right. Well, Anas, thank you so much for bringing us all the latest on this. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.